some more and some more and some more. And it don't stop, it don't slow, it don't cease to be. And just like how you gotta get yours, if you think I won't die behind my pride, you's a liar, you stuck. Giving up is you nuts. Until my last breath, I'm at it, everlasting. In mine I trust. Indeed, yes indeed. Patience isn't a virtue if it hurts you, so why hesitate to make it happen however you track it?
Yo, what's up? What it is, what it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully your day's going great. I want to chop it to you real quick. If you had the time, because I have the time, I want to talk to you about introspection and, self-reflection. I want to break it down from how I see it, how it's best used, you know what I'm saying, the best way to make the best of introspection, and what all stems from it, you know what I'm saying? So check it. Introspection is very necessary for the sake of self-growth. You know what I'm saying? You have to look inward and then conquer, different flaws to make you the best you possible, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of self-progression. Now, don't be introspective for the sake of deception, like trying to deceive, get over, okay, what can I do? You having that self-pep talk, trying to figure out what it takes to get over on somebody else. That's the wrong version of introspection. But positive introspection for the sake of self-growth, based in self-love, is important. You know what I'm saying? And I came across something not too long ago, and it said when it comes to introspection, we oftentimes reject people's insights about our movements, how we move, how we operate, because advice is good also to add to your introspection to build yourself. But there are those people who tend to reject any criticism, constructive criticism, you know what I'm saying, positive criticism, or people's insights into their movements, because upon introspection, they've now developed a somewhat of a delusions of grandeur kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Believing that, okay, what they've come to conclude about themselves, which oftentimes is going to be in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? Because very rarely, unless you have like way low self-esteem, you very rarely see you being the wrong in the situation, Like if things are going wrong, you're going to tend to put the responsibility on external things as opposed to looking at you like, okay, I'm responsible for this. This happened because I should have maneuvered like this, So what people tend to do is, upon introspection, they reject believing that either the person's an idiot, you know what I'm saying? They know the facts about what you're providing. I know what I am. I know what I could do. You telling me contrary to, you know what I'm saying? You got to be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? You know what's going on. So people reject believing that the person's an idiot. The second thing is they either reject the person's insight because they believe that they're ignorant, like they don't know the facts, so therefore, how can you even talk about what I got going on? I know what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Then you start to reject any feedback, believing that they're ignorant. And then the third one is people reject people's insights upon their introspection because of malice. They think that the person has malice towards them and they're hating on me, so they're gonna just disagree anyway. You know what I'm saying? And we have to get out of that because, like I said, introspection is very important, very necessary to build yourself, but also the feedback of those who you're attached to, you know what I'm saying, who you're dependent upon, and in turn are dependent upon you, you know what I'm saying? Your tribesmen or tribeswomen, your family. You know what I'm saying? It's very important to get that constructive criticism if you sincerely want to build yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have like a fragile ego, a large but fragile ego, you know what I'm saying? If that's not the case, and then you are truly, sincerely trying to build self, introspection is important, you know what I'm saying? Self-reflection is very important, and then the feedback of others is also important. And then it becomes like a amalgamation of, you know what I'm saying, possibilities, options, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, introspection, the reason I felt it necessary to bring it up is because when it comes to introspection, that's how you determine your self-respect for, develop your self-respect. And the reason I say that is because you know within you, when looking at yourself, what happened in situations and how you could have handled it, how you felt by not handling it, you know what I'm saying? Or how you felt about how you handled it. And then therefore you're developing respect for self. okay, next time when I get into a situation with this person or confrontation or whatever, a back and forth, I'm gonna do like this, man, because I'm not gonna let this person talk to me like da da da. You know what I'm saying? On that kind of thing. So it starts with that introspection to develop your standards for self-respect, and then therefore once self-respect self, you know what I'm saying? You can now be respectful externally when it's necessary. You feel me? Because the standards of respect you set for yourself, you're gonna expect that from an outward, external interaction. Do you feel me? Hopefully you feel me. Because think about it. If you don't respect yourself, you're not gonna care how somebody else disrespects you. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to anybody whose self-esteem is low. I actually feel for you. I wish your self-esteem wasn't low, but just being realistic so I could share this point with you. If you have no respect for yourself because of low self-esteem, you're not going to care about somebody's disrespect in addition to your lack of self-respect. You feel me? So therefore, once you begin to set the standard of respect for yourself, you're going to expect that same respect outwardly. You know what I'm saying? And only give your respect when it's warranted. Do you feel me? Everybody's not just deserving of your respect. You can go into situations respectfully, open-minded, but until you get to know a person, you cannot just automatically respect that person. And I apply that as well to elders. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody has more years on earth than you doesn't mean that they're deserving or warrant your respect. I don't care what anybody say. You know what I'm saying? I know that that's a tradition, that you're supposed to honor thy mother and father, meaning honor your elders, respect your elders. But how they've gotten us in this country is they have broken the spirit of our elders. Those are mine. Those are part of my tribe that are part of the same struggle, you know, who share my ancestry. You know, how they've done our elders is they've destroyed their spirits, and then the younger gleaning understanding from the elder is going to follow that same path naturally if we adhere to respect thy elders. You know what I'm saying? Honor your mother and father. That's how they would want it. Because you got to understand, in this country, everything is reversed for us. Everything is in reverse. So the standards, the traditions that they adhere to, 9 times out of 10 are a detriment to our tribe, our nation, our family. But yet and still, most of us assimilate believing they got success. If I do how they do, I'll get it too. Nah, because it's different strokes for different folks. Do you feel me? So I say that to say, when it comes to respect, one has to warrant that respect. You feel me? That's the pitfall. If the ones that you're forced, you know what I'm saying, to respect, you know what I'm saying, you're coerced to respect, if they're not respectable, then you're placing your respect or investing your respect in the wrong direction. Therefore, it destroys your personal morale, killing your standards of self-respect, and then those external disrespects you accept. You know what I'm saying? It's the way, natural course of things. That's not to say that there aren't some elders worthy of respect. Do you feel me? Just for the sake of generalities, we all know if Brother Malcolm was still living, that brother as an elder, while in flesh, deserves respect for all that he did. Of course, the nation, this nation, this country wouldn't have allowed him to reach his, elder years because of what he was doing. But that's the reason he would warrant my respect, personally. And then you develop your own standards based on your self-respect, who you respect. You know what I'm saying? But for me, if he was still in flesh, ain't no question, man. He got my respect. You feel me? I can name a few others that are on the opposite end of that spectrum. I'm not here to do that. I'm just saying, when it comes to respect, you decide who's worthy of it. And your introspection will contribute to your standards of respect. First starting with your standard of self-respect, which you will and won't tolerate. You feel me? Very important. Because again, let me touch on this point too. When I was telling you that everything's in reverse for us, those are mine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Those are mine. When it comes to us, everything's in reverse. So think about it. When they got us going to school from kindergarten, middle school, high school, and then into society based on what they fed you, if we knew and understood you know what I'm saying, and agreed, all on one accord, in harmony, that okay, everything's in reverse for us. If they're doing it like this, there has to be a reverse end to that, you know what I'm saying? College, you know what I'm saying? So usually they have it to where you go to the elementary school under the tutelage of teachers, and then you go back home, and then you go back and continue the process for however many years, you know? College, you're away from your family for a second, you know what I'm saying? Getting your understanding, you feel me? And then you're off into the world, if you choose to go that route. What we should start doing, let me submit this to you. Y'all gonna be like, what? Think about this, but keep your mind open when I say this. What if we allow our kids, say we got an independent school built, instead of following the standard of kindergarten to 12th grade, what if we send our kids away to trusted members of our tribe? Now, we're not gonna have a Catholic church situation where we sending our kids away and then they get, you know, done filthy by those who are in charge of, you know, because that warrants murder. Let me stop right there. Trusted members of our society, of our tribe, are in charge of, you know what I'm saying, our children's education and understanding away from the household. Then, upon completing that situation, what if they return to a situation where now the education is more close-knit with your family? And then therefore, from that part of the education structure, our education structure, you know what I'm saying, they go and return home and then contribute all they learn from, we'll call it a university because we don't have a name for it yet, but, you know, follow me on this. When they return from the university and then go to the elementary, middle, high school standard, and then they return back to the community, all that understanding they've gained in their formative years on a positive level, because we'll dictate what they are fed, will then translate to the kindergarten through 12th grade standard, our education, you know what I'm saying? And it continues teaching them everything they need to know to be, you know what I'm saying, a upstanding member of the nation, and then they return to the community. You don't think our communities would be better if we, you know, flip the standard upside down as far as education? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. When it comes to respect, everything is upside down. So they're going to tell you and preach to you, honor thy mother and father. Of course, because they've conditioned our mothers and fathers, in some cases, to be to serve their purpose in society. So then the younger, being force-fed that principle, are being misled before they had an opportunity to grow and develop their mentality. You feel what I'm saying? So that goes to my point when it comes to giving your respect just because. Nah, you gotta weigh the options. You gotta be observant. You feel what I'm saying? Pay attention, process what you're observing, organize it, and then decide if that person is worthy of your respect. Not just because they got so many years on earth, because you could have been on earth and got all this knowledge in a tainted way. So everything, all the experience and wisdom has now made you a detriment to the younger coming up based on how you perceive things. Do you feel me? And then also the reverse end is true, but I'm talking about that's the detriment. Just because you've been on earth for however many years, what have you done in those years? You feel me? And then, not only that, what have you taken away from what you've done in those years? What lessons are you passing down based in your wisdom? Then, if it's beneficial to self-improvement and therefore improvement of the tribe, then that person is worthy of your respect. Because as it stands now, there's some elders telling the youngsters bogus, you know what I'm saying? Making the youngsters create a bogus to-do list. Do you feel me? Misguiding them before they even had an opportunity to start. And my disclaimer, who am I? You know, I'm not the one to dictate what's tainted knowledge and what's positive or beneficial knowledge. I'm not the one that sets that standard, but from my perspective, what I understand to be, you know what I'm saying, positive and negative knowledge, you know, that's my take on it. And then, again, that's why introspection is important. Knowing within you what you believe in, what you stand on, what you will fight for, you know what I'm saying? And if it comes to it, what you might die for, you know? But if you haven't taken time to look inside, you know what I'm saying, and self-reflect, it's almost like every influence outside of yourself is a an option, a doable option. And what I mean by that is, if you haven't set within yourself what your goals are based on your introspection, your self-respect based on your introspection, what your principles are based on your self-reflection, you know what I'm saying? Everything that presents something to you, you might do, because you don't know what you want to do. So they'll be like, yeah, go down there and bust bricks for like about 20 years, and then we'll give you a pension. You know what I'm saying? If you accept that right now, sign your name on the dotted line. You can start that right now today. If you haven't decided within yourself if that's in line with what you want to do. But I understand too, there are some stepping stones. Sometimes you might have to bust that move to elevate to where you want to get to. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to break certain contracts. Do you get me? Because you only get one life to live. And it's never too late to decide what your principles are either. It's never too late to start introspection and looking inside and deciding. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late. It's very important. So if you haven't started, you should start now. And how do I believe your introspection or self-reflection should go? I would first, and I'm still working on this too. It's been a while since I've had time, if I've ever had time, besides being in jail, to sit and reflect on how I carried out situations. You know what I'm saying? I very rarely get opportunities like that, and right now I do have an opportunity. So I'm not the best at introspection and self-reflection, but I think I'm trying to hone that skill. You know what I'm saying? Tighten it up, sharpen it up. But the reason I'm recommending it to you and telling you it's never too late, what I found is upon introspection, I've been able to maneuver a little more smoothly. You know what I'm saying? Not in a deceitful way, but knowing what I want and how to get what I desire. You know what I'm saying? How to acquire what I desire. Do you get me? So again, when it comes to self-reflection, when it comes to introspection, to me, the best way to go about that is first thinking about the things you achieved in. Do you feel me? Everything you were successful in, everything you set out to do and accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Go down the list, boom, 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 boom. Then, as soon as you do that, and you reflect for a minute, because this is time to yourself. You know, time is precious. So how long that takes, I'm not gonna put a time frame on your introspection. But I would recommend after you know what I'm saying, shine the light on the positive and the things you've achieved. Also look at the things that you failed at, and I'm gonna tell you why. When there's a setback, if you don't think back to why that setback occurred, you could fall prey to that same setback in another day. You know what I'm saying? Once you start to think and self-reflect and take responsibility, your introspection should be for the sake of self-growth. Do not put yourself in the right light all the time. Be honest with yourself. If you were right, you were right. But if you know you did some things that was kind of janky, keep it real with yourself, man. And your introspection should be an honest assessment of self. You know what I'm saying? An honest assessment. Because if you're not honest with yourself and then you do this introspection thing, if you try it, you decide to give it a try, you're going to mislead yourself, and then you're going to operate in the world with a veil on. And you're going to do things that are not going to be beneficial to you achieving anything, because you've lied to yourself. You looked in the mirror and told yourself what you wanted to hear. So your introspection should be in all sincerity, looking at yourself, thinking about what you succeeded in, you know what I'm saying, how that came to be, thinking about the setbacks, how those setbacks occurred, thinking about what you failed at because of those setbacks. And then after you've done all that, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the positive, tell yourself that because you succeeded that time, and with that method, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to achieve the same success using the exact same method. You feel what I'm saying? Tell yourself that, because successes and accomplishments should be, you know what I'm saying, praised when it comes to you looking in the mirror. You should take pride in what you achieve, you know? But do understand the way you achieved it is not, that same method might not apply for your next success. Do you get me? It might not apply. You got to be adaptable. That's very important. You have to be able to adapt. If you can't adapt, you'll fade away. You won't be able to keep up, you know? And who don't want to keep up? Everybody want to keep up. I want you to keep up. So be adaptable. You know what I'm saying? Be fluid as far as your course of action. Keep your process or your eye on the prize, what you want to accomplish overall. But the way to get there, you know, be open-minded with the method. Be open-minded with the process to your success, you know? Don't be afraid to introspect. You know what I'm saying? Look inside. For the sake of self-love. It should be based in self-love. You know, the negative side to introspection is borders on the line of self-hate. That's like when you look at yourself, are hypercritical to the negative. You don't look at nothing positive. You know what I'm saying? You just tearing yourself down. Man, I can't never do nothing right, man. Every time I try to do da-da-da-da, it falls through. I always fumble, man. Why can't I ever do nothing? You know, that kind of talk. And I can't lie. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I'm gonna share a piece of me with you. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you would like to receive it. But let me share this with you real quick. When it comes to me, I'm hypercritical of myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to succeed. I do not want to lose. When it comes to what I want to achieve, not like winning at the expense of somebody else, but I'm talking about personal gain for the sake of being a benefit to those who I love, who I got care for. I want to succeed. So then when something falls through, there's a setback, I look and I'm extra critical. And sometimes I run the risk of beating myself down to the point where I become angry or frustrated. And then that is now externally felt by all involved possibly, you know? And I'm working on that. That's just the kind of man I am. You feel me? Because nobody is fully responsible when it comes to interactions and why things might have fell through, not worked out, why there was a setback. When there are more people involved, one person is not responsible for why things didn't fall apart. And within myself, I know that. So while I take responsibility, being that I might have taken a loss or a setback, I'm taking my responsibility, but then that anger and frustration is coming from, you know what I'm saying? After my self-reflection and introspection, I'll beat myself up. Dang, I could have did this. I should have said this, man. I could have put this in her ear, let her know this, and then they would have went this way, or I could have told them this and that, you know. But then now upon beating myself down, this is a problem I have. I don't know if anybody else had this problem. Now I'm starting to get frustrated and angry because of that loss or that setback. Now I'm starting to be critical of everything else or every other party involved in the setback. And then now, you feel what I'm saying? And that's dangerous, and I gotta stop doing that. I'm getting better now. You know what I'm saying? I'm maturing to a point where I'm not being so hard, not only on myself, but all who might have been involved with a possible setback. You feel me? But that's that. Make sure your introspection is in a positive vein, you know, for the sake of self-love, self-improvement. Don't be too hard on yourself to the point where it becomes a detriment. To those who are prone to low self-esteem, your introspection has to be in the right spirit, you know what I'm saying? With the right energy, or you'll run the risk of falling into depression, you know what I'm saying? Feeling like you're hopeless. And then that will deter you from doing the self-reflection that is necessary to break up out of that kind of mentality. Because it's not bad. There's a good and bad to all things. Everything could be mishandled, botched, and misused, especially while in flesh. Everything we have access to while breathing can be mishandled, abused, corrupted. You know what I'm saying? All that. I strongly believe that everything is corrupted once the wrong man touches it. Everything's corrupted once the man touches it. You know what I'm saying? Once man touches it. Everything. You feel me? Because think about this. Every war that occurred in human history, and I'm saying human history from the beginning, what we understand to be the beginning of human history, you know what I'm saying? Every war that occurred, the first bloodshed was initiated by a man. Say I'm lying. That being said, I'm not saying that women cannot be the impetus for war or the reason behind war, because that still happens today. Men still go to war because of a woman, on whatever level that war is being fought. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that women are the impetus. But bloodshed is first shed by man. That being said, the reason I brought that to your attention is because now that being the case, while we're in flesh, everything that is positive, we'll use women as an example, and not to objectify, belittle the humanity or human being nature of a woman. Women are human beings, but think of women as a commodity, as a resource for a second. You feel me? Think of women as a resource. If you believe what I told you just a minute ago, you feel me? Every resource that we have access to in flesh can either be corrupted or beneficial. You feel me? The wrong man gets in contact with the right woman, or you could say the wrong woman. He will turn her into the wrong woman. You feel me? If the wrong man gets in contact with that precious resource, that commodity, it's now corrupted. She would do damage to the world, you know? Everything's corrupted once man touches it. The wrong man. Do you get me? So, when it comes to introspection, for the sake of your self-growth, self-development, to making yourself the best you possible, you feel me? Make sure it's coming from a sincerely loving place for yourself. Because it does no good to be introspective to a detriment, and then that detriment within is going to fester and then externally be manifested. So then in turn, not only are you a detriment to you, you are now a detriment to the rest of us. You feel me? You're now a detriment to the rest of us. Because your introspection has made you believe that you're worthless. Now anything that you might be a part of or identify with, you're going to feel like it's worthless. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel like that's worthless as well. And then any worthless behavior that might be, you know, thrown up on you by another worthless person, you know what I'm saying? You're going to accept it because you already within yourself believe you're worthless. That's why it's very important. Self-reflection is very, 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 very important. Because it can also deter you, you know what I'm saying, from looking to place blame on things outside of you. Now, there are some external factors that are to blame for your circumstance. Do not get me twisted. I'm not so foolish to believe that this society does not contribute to some of our downfall. I know that. I get that. But there's ways you can maneuver to make those setbacks less. You're going to endure setbacks, you know, hardships. If you maneuver and process and proceed a certain way, you feel me? You can cut back on some of those setbacks because some setbacks are brought on by yourself. Some of your setbacks are brought on by things that you have done, including me. There's things that have set me back because and based on what I have done, how I operated, you feel me? When I was younger, I wasn't trying to make me to blame for why I failed, you know? Even if external forces was the reason I failed. I would never take responsibility for nothing. This is when I was younger. That's what made me want to fight the world, you know? I'm thinking everything is against me. You gotta take time, take a deep breath, exhale, you know what I'm saying? Start to look at yourself, man. Take your responsibility, but don't let anybody put all the responsibility on you, especially if there's more than one person involved, you know what I'm saying, with a situation, a potential setback, a success, you know what I'm saying? To succeed as a part of a group, the responsibility should not be all on you. You know what I'm saying? You take responsibility for your portion of trying to get to that success, of course. You should never want to put the full responsibility on somebody else. But don't let nobody pile all the responsibility on you. Do you get me? Reciprocity. You feel me? Everybody should contribute, pay tribute, you know what I'm saying, in some way. Everybody. You know, it's nothing worse than a freeloader. You know? Nobody wants to be you shouldn't want to be a freeloader, you know? You shouldn't want to be. And tough time hits everybody. So some people do confuse those who have it, sometimes confuse those who don't have it as freeloaders when they're in need of support. You know what I'm saying? When they're in a situation where they have to rely on somebody until they can get up. Some people could look at that and perceive that as, man, you a freeloader. But you got to look at the actions. Even if the actions fall through, like what's attempted doesn't succeed, look at the person and how they're moving. Even if nothing materializes at the moment. Because we shun a lot of people who are not capable at the moment or don't have the ability or resources at the moment to do for self, and we dismiss them in the pile of freeloaders. A freeloader is somebody who got no energy, no ambition, no drive to do nothing, and they leeching off you. Do you feel me? That's what that is. So nobody should want to be a freeloader. Do you get me? So that being said, take responsibility for your portion when involved in a group to succeed. Take responsibility for your portion, and then make sure everybody's holding their responsibilities down and hold people accountable. Because accountability, you know what I'm saying, makes the success a reality by way of the mutual accountability. I'm accountable for me and what I'm responsible for, but therefore I'm also attached to this situation, to this relationship, to this tribe, to this nation. So therefore I'm also accountable, you know what I'm saying, for that group, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking accountability. And it should be vice versa. The tribe will then take accountability for you. But again, I'm gonna leave it right there. Hopefully you felt something I said. If you didn't, cool. Introspection is important. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Do not be afraid, you know? Because there's only one you. There's only one me. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna love you better than you? You know what I'm saying? Who will? Not to say that people outside of yourself cannot, you know what I'm saying, contribute to the self-love you have for yourself with unconditional love. That's a possibility. But I'm saying it start with you. It start with the love you have for yourself. But again, I'm gonna leave it right there. Have a great day. You know what I'm saying? You know, have it your way. However that may, you know what I'm saying, come across to you. Take it for what you want to take it for. Yeah.
Patience isn't a virtue if it hurts you, so why hesitate to make it happen however you trap it? And get at it and bag it. I feel you, I know the burning desire to have it. Even way back in the G, when I was taking stabs at bad bitches for free. Yet it's still like a field to burn like a flame of the game as it raised from deep inside of me. Now nothing will stop my ambition to be, to achieve by any means is the destiny I set for me. As for respect on the scene, for the set I bust and leave. It's nothing but my belief in camaraderie. And I could take the knocking but stop the watching for